who were the best PvP characters for the month of August. We're going to be talking about which modes they were good in, why I put them at that level, and who is S tier. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so this is my breakdown of my PvP tier list. If you're on my Discord, the link will be down below. I posted this about a week and a half ago. I just haven't had time to sit down and make the video and put down my explanations. But if we take a look, I really did a evaluation of them in each game mode. I did Dimension Duel, Omega War, and Squad Battle. I did not consider some other modes, such as it's technically under the PvP mode, but Dark Zone, because it kind of it's Omega War kind of setting, and the whole point of Dark Zone is to try to get the points, which you primarily get from the bosses. So I don't really feel that's a PvP game mode. I'm sorry if you feel differently about that. Now, the S tier, I have Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, and Captain America. You will see they aren't on my number list right here. That's because I gave them 5s on all 3 game modes. Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, and Captain America have a bunch of CC, do a bunch of damage. Well, as far as Scarlet Witch and Spider-Man, they do a bunch of damage. Captain America can do a bunch of damage on his Vibranium release type skills when he has his Vibranium gauge up, as well as he can be unkillable with crit damage decrease as an exclusive stat. Then we have Wolverine, Black Widow, and Iron Man. For Wolverine, I gave him a 4 in Dimension Duel, 4 in Omega War, and 3 in Squad Battle. The reason why I gave him a 4 in Dimension Duel is because he can beat most of the characters, but he struggles against the top 2, which would be Scarlet Witch and Spider-Man. He can go pretty evenly against Captain America. I gave him a 4 in Omega War because he can do a bunch of things, but in the same aspects of the 3 S tiers, he does not perform as well as the top 3. He can still do a bunch of things, just not as good as the other 3. I gave him a 3 in Squad Battles because while he is CC immune, guard break immune during his ultimate, and he does have a skill that lets him give 16.53% damage reduction on his team, he just doesn't bring to the board what people above him bring, even more than just the 3 above. Then we have Black Widow. I gave her a 4 in Dimension Duel for the same reason I gave Wolverine. She can beat everybody, but she just doesn't do it as easily or as well as the people in the S tier above her. I gave her a 5 in Omega War because even though she has trouble chasing down the flyers, as far as ult in Trap Deluge, use another skill, Snipe has an okay range now, and then ulti to get out, I think she can definitely do a bunch of work in Omega War. Now, I gave her a 3 for Squad Battle. If I really had to, it'd be like a 3.5 really, because she does have, you can do cute things with her, such as Flare Grenade to do a group blind, or Explosive Grenade into Ghost Rider for a stun, if you set that up as your first skill. But she struggles with the people above her as well as people in her tier. Then we have Iron Man. It's really going to be a lot of the same things as Widow. They really are 2 peas in a pod. He does well in Dimension Duel, but not as well or as good or against the characters above him. He dominates Omega War. If there was a 6, he would probably be 6 in Omega War. And then 3 in Squad Battle. He can do things like Tactical Satellite to hit group damage and whatnot, but just not at that level. Magic, oh man. I gave her a 2 in Dimension Duel. You if you wanted to argue a 3, I could see it, but she does struggle. It's not her ideal game mode. She's better in prolonged fights, which doesn't Dimension Duel really isn't that way. I gave her a 3 in Omega War because she can do anti-dodge. She can do a few things, but she doesn't perform to the level of other characters. Also gave her a 3 in Squad Battle because she doesn't really bring a lot of CC. She does group damage fairly well. Like, don't sleep on her damage output, but she just isn't doing... Squad Battle is a lot about CC, and she doesn't really bring a lot of that to the board. Captain Marvel, she does well in Dimension Duel. She can beat things, but you have to put a lot of effort into certain timings and whatnot. It really feels like she's a wannabe Wolverine. I hate to say it, but that's kind of what she feels like in that mode. She can get her ultimate a little bit quicker than Wolverine, but plays a lot like Wolverine. You'll see that Wolverine magic in Marvel. If you're going to rank them, Wolverine will always have to be a tier above the other two because all three of their ultimates are similar. Ultimate Wolverine having the edge because he has guard damage immunity where the other two do not. I gave her a 3 in Omega War. She can do a lot of great work. She can get her dodges back. She can have a good time. But she just doesn't do enough upfront damage to really kill the point leader, things like that. I also gave her a 2 in Squad Battle because she doesn't give the CC like something like Widow, and she doesn't do the damage with something like Iron Man. So she's pretty low in that regard, in my opinion. Then we have Strange. If one other thing gave him a 4, he'd be up in A tier. But right now, I have him very solid B. These aren't in order. If they were in order, he would be the top of B tier. I gave him a 3 in Dimension Duel. There are some good Stranges out there, but a lot of them are swapping over to Scarlet Witch because she's able to do the same thing but easier. I gave him a 3 for Omega War. The biggest thing he adds is his clones, untargetability, and his ultimate, but a lot of the time he just dies during his ultimate, even during the damage reduction that he now has. I gave him a 4 with Squad Battle. I could find a way to give him a 5 with Squad Battle, which would push him up to A tier. So we will see how Squad Battles goes and see what next month brings. But I gave him a 4 because of his clones, untargetable, good damage. They can't dodge, so you can just truck your damage. So I think he does really well in Squad Battle. Man, Star-Lord and Storm. Justice for both of you buddies. Star-Lord, I gave a 2 for Dimension Duel. If you're at the very tip top special gear, whatnot, you can score some wins, but it's going to take a lot of effort, and it's nowhere near. I gave him a 3 for Omega War just because he can give stamina, recovery, and dodge gauge to allies, or anti-dodge to a group, which gives him a lot of battlefield control. I gave him a 2 for Squad Battle. I could have gave him a 3 for the same reasons I just said for Omega War, but dodge gauge recovery doesn't matter in Squad Battle, and anti-dodge doesn't matter in Squad Battle. Storm, man, I gave her a 1 in Dimension Duel. I could give her a 2. That could push her to B tier, but it's really tough because how Bubble is now, it really helps the opponent now. It makes no sense that what the 1 second really matters, but she goes into her bubble and it effectively gives you time to get your cooldowns and prepare, And then when she comes out of bubble, she is stuck in that 1 second animation. She can dodge out of it, but she's effectively stuck in that 1 second animation where you can just wail on her with abandon, just no reason, just go on her. With a four, I gave her a 4 for Omega War because she, even though she has that same issue with bubble, bubble takes a lot of targeting in Omega War and messes up Wolverine and messes up a bunch of other characters as well. Uh, she also does a decent amount of AoE damage. I gave her a 3 in squad battle. With more testing, she may end up being a 4, which will throw her up into B tier, just off of the strength of those. Because Bubble can do certain things, she does do AoE damage, but her damage is nowhere near something like Iron Man. Let me know what you guys think. If you think I messed up on any of these things, if you have anything to add, if I should have added Darkstone to this list. Till next time, guys.